Eastern Europe and the United States of America, and every place where the footprint of Christianity settled the world. That's all of Western civilization.
Welcome back to Hardball. Well, that was Republican Congressman from Iowa, Steve King, back in July of last year, questioning the historical contributions of non-white subgroups, he called them. Well, today he's under fire again for another inflammatory comment, this time in a tweet supporting Dutch anti-Islamic politician Geert Wilders, he tweeted, this is an American, Wilders understands that culture and demographics are our destiny. We can't restore our civilization with somebody else's babies. When asked to explain, the U.S. Congressman doubled down on his comments.
What did you mean?
Well, of course, I meant exactly what I said, as it always is the case, Chris. I've said the same thing as far as 10 years ago to the German people and to any population of people that is a declining population that isn't willing to have enough babies to reproduce themselves. And I've said to them, you cannot rebuild your civilization with somebody else's babies. You've got to keep your birth rate up.
Well, David Duke retweeted nothing about birth rate. He just said U.S. Congressman's comments, quote, God bless Steve King was his reaction. But many Republicans were quick to condemn the remarks of the congressman. Florida Republican Carlos Curbelo, son of Cuban immigrants, tweeted, what exactly do you mean? Do I qualify as somebody else's baby? Hashtag concerned GOP colleague. Former Trump rival Jeb Bush tweeted, America is a nation of immigrants. The sentiment expressed by Steve King doesn't reflect our shared history or values. And in South Carolina, the senator down there, a Republican, Tim Scott, tweeted, e pluribus unum. And as Christians, we believe that the many all come from Adam and Eve. Well, Speaker Paul Ryan distanced himself from his Iowa colleague. Here's what he told Fox News.
I disagree with that statement. I haven't seen the context, but I disagree that we're a melting pot. Look, my family's here because the potatoes stopped growing in Ireland. This is what's beautiful about the American idea. We're a melting pot where people come from all walks of life all around the world to seek freedom, to seek a better life.
For more on this, I'm joined by former Republican Congressman and radio host Joe Walsh and Jonathon Capeheart, opinion writer for the Washington Post. Congressman, let me ask you about this. What do you think he meant, and do you defend it?
I do, Chris. It's good to be with you. I think he's getting a bum rap, just like I thought Trump supporters got a bum rap. I mean, the media, not you, but people in the media are calling Steve King a racist and a xenophobe. That's the exact same thing they said about Trump supporters. What did Steve King really say? He said, if you want to come here, you got to come here legally. And if you want to come here legally, you've got to assimilate and ascribe to our American values, regardless of race or color. And if we don't do that, Chris, Steve King said, America can't survive. Now, you're not a racist or a bigot to believe that.
Well, let's ask Jonathon, how's your reaction? Or what is it? I haven't heard it yet.
I mean, Chris, look, what Congressman King says is part and parcel of a whole history of things that he has said that are racist or xenophobic. One of them you showed happened at the Republican convention in Cleveland when he was on air with Chris Hayes. Another one, I believe you either talked about it or we know it well when Congressman King talked about people coming over the border with calves the size of cantaloupes, calling people basically Mexicans drug mules. Look, Congressman King has a problem. He has a racial problem. He has a xenophobic problem.
Okay, let's, Jonathon, we're going to cue that up because it is kind of comically awful. Here's what he said about immigrants from below the border. Here he is.
For everyone who's a valedictorian, there's another 100 out there that they weigh 130 pounds and they've got calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling 75 pounds of marijuana across the desert. Those people would be legalized with the same act.
This is... I hate to hit you with that one, Congressman Walsh, but that's the guy you're defending right now. There is a pattern here of ethnic prejudice, I would think, putting it lightly.
Yeah, but Chris, again, I don't think it is. I know Steve King. I served with
them. That wasn't a knock against Mexicans?
Gosh, no, it is a problem. I mean, Mexicans with their drugs have come up. Could he be off by his numbers? I don't know. But again, the media's obsession with making this about race, this is what they did to Trump supporters during the campaign.
Okay. You know what, Chris? I'm not going to. What former Congressman Wilson is doing is trying to bait a conversation where we're trying to pull in people who vote, all people who voted for President Trump, and lumping them into being racist. And what we're talking about is a congressman who has a history of making racist statements and xenophobic statements that border also on sort of racial purity for this country, when what America is above all else is an idea where all men are created equal. People come here for opportunity. They come here to seek a better life because that's the idea of America. And when you have when you have a member of Congress who continually degrades people who come here, who come to our country to seek that opportunity, I think is something that's shameful. And I'm happy that Speaker Ryan came out there and unequivocally denounced what Congressman King said.
Give him half a minute. Go ahead, Congressman.
Jonathan, it's not racist. It's about values and culture. And again, this is what the average Trump supporter believes. Secure my country. Come here legally. And if you're going to come here, Jonathan, then subscribe to that idea that America is.
I think people do. I think people do. I think
many do, Chris, but many don't.
Okay, I don't think we should think. Let me just give you my opinion. We're not Holland. Holland has these very homogeneous cultures. Everybody sort of looks alike, and everybody has the same language, the same history, going way back. This country has always been different than that. John is right. This is a country where a pluribus unum. People all came here from. By the way, African Americans have been here longer than any of us.
And so this idea
and
we came unwillingly.
Well,
I don't have to make that point, but that point's been made by history, John. You're right. Who was it? Carson said the other night that they were just yearning for freedom. I mean, I'm sorry. This is a serious conversation. Congressman, I appreciate the point you're trying to make.
Thanks, Chris.
This is an issue that it has to do with cultural things. I hope it was just about culture, because culture is something we can all meld together on. Thank you, Jonathon Capeheart.
Culture and values. Thanks, Chris.
And values especially, because that's in the Constitution. You better subscribe to that or you shouldn't be here, because that's what does unite us. Freedom of religion and all the other good things. Thank you, Congressman Walsh.